Hey, I'm Mark. Come on, let's go. I want to get home, have some turkey, and watch some football. This weekend is traditional rivalry weekend in college football. Well, whichever ones are left. You are unrivaled. You bring a lot of joy when you leave this room. So get the door closed. I don't want people to see what's going on in here. Why? Because I'm a history teacher, and I'm going rogue. College mascots, they have so much meaning. They're a rallying point for a community, like an entire state. Like those kids in Red Dawn fighting that Soviet invasion. Wolverines! Damn right, Wolverines. Banana slugs! Not the same, right? North Carolina Tar Heels, Arkansas Razorbacks. What happens, though, when someone thinks your mascot just isn't right? A change is made, and 100 years of tradition suddenly vanishes. There have been some great mascots that were sacrificed to the whims of administrators and replaced with something lame. Hey, let's count down the 10 worst mascot changes in college history. Let's go rogue. Just a note, we won't be looking at schools that changed from Native American mascots. That's for a later list. So let's go. Number 10, the North Texas Mean Green from the North Texas Eagles. So this might not necessarily be from good to bad. I mean, it might be bad to bad. The Eagles was number 2 on my list of 10 worst college mascots. Colors, they're just not intimidating. I mean, unless your color's green and your first name is Mean Joe. Mean Joe Green played defensive tackle for North Texas State University from 1966 to 1968, leading the team to a 23-5 record. He received the moniker Mean Joe Green as a leader of the Pittsburgh Steelers' Steel Curtain defense in the early 1970s. Super Bowl rings in 1975, 76, 79, and 80. Mean Joe Green. It would be awesome if the 4th largest college in Texas named its mascot after one guy. But the North Texas Mean Green was actually the nickname of the defense that was given by head coach Rod Rust's wife. Nevertheless, still just a color. And it was just a coincidence that its most dominant player was Joe Green. And yes, he was mean. Except in that Coca-Cola commercial, where he gave his jersey to that. Number 9, the University of Nebraska, the Cornhuskers from the Bug Eaters in 1899. When the federal government passed the Homestead Act, families moved west to Nebraska at the cost of little more than the filing fee. Let's go. Only problem, no trees, no wood, no trains to bring wood from back east yet. Homesteaders, without wood, they built their houses out of sod. And with no forest for animals to live in, the homesteaders were left to eat whatever lived in the dirt, which usually meant bugs. By the 1800s, the University of Nebraska's football team had several nicknames, including the Tree Planters, the Rattlesnake Boys, the Antelopes, the Old Gold Knights, and the Bug Eaters. In 1899, someone was smart enough to officially name the team the Cornhuskers. But I don't know if a guy shucking corn really instills fear in me. Now, if I'm across the line of scrimmage from some guy with a grasshopper parts hanging out of his mouth, I might be intimidated. Number 8, Ball State University. The Cardinals from the Hoosieroons in 1927. Ball State. Just the name of the school makes a person smile. Before it was Ball State, it was Indiana Normal School. Normal School at the time being a teaching college. Oh, the school was bought by the Ball family. You know, the guys that make jars for preserving jams. Fruit Jar Tech. That's funny. While it was Indiana Normal School, though, it borrowed its mascot from the flagship university in the state, Indiana University. And just like UCLA used the Bruins, or Mini Bears, in relationship to Cal, Indiana Normal used a smaller Hoosier as its mascot, the Hoosieroons. That was kind of cool for a while. Then, in 1927, the athletic director suggested the change to the state bird of Indiana, the Cardinals. A vote by the student body made it official, and they have shared their mascot with 8 other universities since. Number 7, Evansville University, the Purple Aces from the Pioneers in 1924. For most of its history, Indiana would have been considered out west or on the frontier. That's why University of Evansville was referred to as the Pioneers. That was until about the 1920s, when the country started filling in around the city. Pioneers became kind of obsolete. After Evansville routed the University of Louisville in a basketball game in 1924, the Louisville coach remarked to his Pioneers counterpart that, using an old poker statement, you didn't have 4 aces up your sleeve, you had 5. A reporter from the Evansville Courier heard the story and started referring to the school's teams as the Purple Aces. The name stuck. Pioneers, man. Intimidating? Well, you got to be good with an axe and a rifle. Purple Aces? It's original. But local or intimidating? I don't think so. Number 6, Lehigh University to the Mountain Hawks from the Engineers in 1995. Lehigh University in Pennsylvania was founded in 1865, and its athletic teams were then known as the Engineers. This reflected the strength of the university's engineering and technology programs. Some believe that the name was a reference to the guys that drove the trains on the Lehigh Valley Railroad. Intimidating? Nah. Original? Yeah. Local? Yeah. Then in 1995, Lehigh got rid of the confusion by changing its mascot to the Mountain Hawks. Now Lehigh is just another version of Hawk. Not original, not intimidating, not local. Number 5, the Cal State University at Los Angeles Golden Eagles from the Diablos in 1980. Consider all the Spanish language mascots in Southern California. The University of San Diego Toreros, Cal State Northridge Matadors, the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. Up until 1980, you could include the Cal State Los Angeles Diablos. So what does Diablos translate into? Oh yeah, the Cal State LA Devils. Original? Yeah. Intimidating? I suppose. Local? Spanish. Diablos. So in 1980, the school adopted a new mascot, the Golden Eagles, designed to be more reflective of the campus's highly diverse community. I mean, how's an eagle diverse? The only people I see sporting eagles are the white guys coming out of a local bar. America! Stupid university presidents, ruining the fun for all of us. Now Cal State LA is just another eagle. Number 4, the Elon University Phoenix from the Fightin' Christians in 1999. You know what would have been awesome? Cal State LA playing Elon College back in the 70s, because it would have been the CSU LA Diablos, or Devils, versus the Elon College Fightin' Christians. How awesome would that be? Put $100 on the Christians and lay the 12 points. I read Revelations. So when Elon College was making the move from Division I to Division II in 1999, the university fathers decided that they wanted something that sounded more Division I. They chose the Phoenix as the school rose from the ashes of a fire that destroyed the campus in 1923. I suppose that's a better achievement than Christianity rising from its adherents being crucified, fed to lions, and slathered in tar and set on fire to light the Colosseum, to becoming one of the world's most followed religions. 3, the Hofstra Pride from the Flying Dutchman and the Syracuse Orange from Orange Men. Let's tie these two together. You'll figure it out. Hofstra is in New York City. To get to Syracuse, you travel up the Hudson, turn left at Albany, and take the Mohawk. Let's be this way, I guess. And take the Mohawk until you can't go anymore, and you're there. Guess who made that trip 400 years before you did? The Dutch. Before the grand old Duke of York bought the city, the Dutch called it New Amsterdam. That explains the Flying Dutchman of Hofstra. Flying Dutchman apparently was too exclusive for the administrators at Hofstra. I guess it was too much to call the women's team the Flying Dutch Women. I mean, USC calls its women's teams the Women of Troy. That's pretty cool. But in 2000, Hofstra dropped the Flying Dutchman, which it used since the school opened in 1995, in favor of the Hofstra Pride, with its logo being a blue male lion with a smaller white female lion silhouetted against it. Now Hofstra is all-inclusive. Before it was the state of New York, it was the colony of New Netherlands. One of the territories of the Netherlands is orange. In fact, Dutch teams that play in international competition, the Olympics, World Cup, they always wear orange. To honor the Dutch that settled all throughout New York, Syracuse called itself the Orange Men. As women's sports emerged, they used the name Orange Women. But in 2002, Syracuse was negotiated with Nike to produce uniforms for the school. Nike negotiated that the university drop Orange Men and Orange Women and simply go by Orange. Well, under pressure from Nike, Syracuse dropped Orangemen and 400 years of history in upstate New York in favor of orange, saving Nike about 1.5 cents per letter on the uniforms that they produced. I mean, if you wanted to save 9 cents on each uniform, you could have just fired a couple of your 10-year-old factory workers in Indonesia. Orange. It does kind of give it an Ivy League feel, no? Number 2, the Whitman College Blues from the missionaries in 2016. The first Christian mission in the Pacific Northwest was established in 1837 by Dr. Marcus and Narcissa Whitman near present-day Walla Walla, Washington, a city so nice they named it twice. Casey, you applied to Whitman, right? Have you been up to Walla Walla?
Not yet.
Not yet? I guess you wouldn't know if it was nice then, would you?
No.
Right. Do they have broadcasting?
No, I'll be a film major.
A film major. Good stuff. Good stuff right there. Back to the Whitmans. After 10 years of serving the natives in the Columbia Basin in eastern Washington, the natives massacred the Whitmans and 11 other missionaries in the mission. In honor of those killed, and the name was given to a new seminary established in 1859. The school became a 4-year college in 1882 and adopted the missionaries as a mascot. In 2016, school officials said that the missionaries' mascot was too non-inclusive and imperialistic. They added the name incorrectly implied that Whitman was a religious school. Also, the old name was just not very intimidating, and it was often mocked, sometimes by its own students. Favorite Whitman cheer? Missionaries, missionaries, we're on top. Whitman changed their mascot to the Blues in 2016, not for the musical style like the NHL's St. Louis Blues. The Blues are a mountain range near Walla Walla. I guess Whitman students can still claim to be on top of the mountains. Number 1, Sonoma State, the Sea Wolves from the Cossacks in 2000. Sonoma State is in wine country of California, north of San Francisco. In the late 1600s, the Russians crossed the Bering Strait and established trading towns in Alaska, the most well-known being Sitka. They continued south along the Pacific coast and eventually reached northern California in the 1730s. The city of Sevastopol, along the Russian River, reflects that Russian history. You know what else reflects Russian history? The Cossacks. The Cossacks were angry, displaced Russian Ukrainians who took their anger out on anyone that the Tsar pointed to. Think like Slavic Vikings. They were the scourge of the Turks, the Poles, the Ukrainians, and Russian peasants. Suleiman the Magnificent begged for the Tsars to end Cossack raids into the Ottoman Empire. The Russians replied that they had no control over them. And if you heard that the Cossacks were coming, your best bet was to basically dig a hole and hide in it until the beats of the horse hooves diminished. Why wouldn't you want that as a mascot? Should have saw this one coming. A friend of mine that went to high school in the area said that they referred to Sonoma State as Frisbee Tech. Students that couldn't get into Cal simply drove another hour north. In 2000, the administration decided that the image of the Cossack horde was too intimidating. They killed too many people throughout Russian history, and the mascot was dropped in favor of a sea wolf. A what? Man, I know sea horses and sea lions and sea elephants and catfish. Never heard of a sea wolf. Worst mascot change ever. Hey, thanks for coming by. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something new. Give me a thumbs up if you did. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Did I miss a good college mascot? Or did I miss a mascot change from good to bad? Let me know in the comments below. I want to thank my producer, Casey Moulton. I want to thank Tevin for running the teleprompter. I had fun, but I won't quit my day job. And remember, I'm Mark Haggard. I'm a history teacher, and I'm going rogue. Hey kid, catch. Thanks, Mean Joe. Coca-Cola adds life. Have a Coke and a smile.